this is GM Babur, Professor of Biology. Today we learn COVID-19, the pandemic which shake the whole world. COVID-19 is stand for Novel Coronavirus Disease 2019, and it is important when we learn the word corona. It stands for the whole family of virus. This family of virus have spikes on their envelope. The name of virus which caused COVID-19 is SARS-CoV-2. Now the word SARS is stand for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, SARS. COVID again coronavirus. And type 2 is its type. First of all, we learn the structure of SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is enveloped virus. They have spikes on whole the structure. When we took a glance on SARS COVID-19 virus, SARS-CoV-2, it possesses spikes and an envelope. If we have some inner look of SARS-CoV-2 virus, it has coat and a core. Electron microscope reveals that it possesses spikes. Spikes are basically proteins. We can say spikes are protein. There is a coat made up of protein, and here is a genome. And this genome is RNA. It is a special type of RNA. This RNA is called as positive sense. Positive sense single-stranded RNA, and this positive sense single-stranded RNA act as a genome or genetic material, or it also acts as directly as messenger RNA. Now question is arise how this virus transmitted from one person to another person. Actually, when a person, he or she infected with the virus, either sneeze, through sneezing or through coughing, there are produced droplets of saliva, and these droplets of saliva possess this deadly, infectious and contagious virus called as SARS-CoV-2, and then it transmits to a healthy person. Now these viruses reach into the respiratory tract of this person, and now there are basically three points where it can affect, either into the nostril or nose, into the ciliated cells. They can enter into the ciliated cells of nose or into the throat, and third one is the respiratory tract. If we have a glance on respiratory tract of a human, it look like when these dreadful and lethal viruses enter into the respiratory tract, it moves through the glottis and then through trachea and then bronchi and reach into the lungs. These structural unit of lungs are ultimately we reach to the alveolus. Alveolus are single cell thick structures. These are basically just like some These are some cavities having some space between them. There are three types of cells in the alveolus. These are epithelial cells, there are secretory cells, and there are some white blood cells. When this virus reach into the alveolus, it entered the cell and start reproducing by using the metabolic machinery of the host, and by dividing their increase in number, and slowly and gradually these area become filled with some swollen areas and some fluid. So the area for respiration, the absorptive area for respiration surface area become least, and patient feel pneumonia. This pneumonia might be bronchus pneumonia or lobular pneumonia. If it might be in a single lobe, it is called as lobular pneumonia, or it in the different parts of the lungs, it is called as bronchial pneumonia. How they affect the cell? It is a story. Let's start. Here is a cell. This is a cell. Suppose that it is some ciliated, epithelial ciliated cell of the trachea or lungs. There are present some cilia. Now, there are present cell membrane, and above cell membrane there is present some receptor areas. The virus recognize this receptor area, and the virus land here. There are spikes. These spikes and these receptor area act as a lock and key. There might be two cases. Either whole virus enter into the cell, or it insert its genome into the body. In this case, if the whole virus SARS-CoV-2 enter into the host cell, there is produce a membrane. This membrane act as a layer or envelope on the virus. Then this virus produce or release its RNA. Earlier we learned that this RNA is called positive sense single-stranded RNA. Now it make replication complex. Or in other scenario, this messenger RNA goes to ribosomes. These ribosomes might be attached with the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and this messenger RNA enter into this ribosome and start producing protein. Which protein? Basically these are spikes. These are basically spikes, and these spikes then move toward the cell membrane. This whole is a cell membrane, host cell membrane. These spikes reach here and accumulate beneath cell membrane. Now, when the virus become complete, it come to the cell membrane and budded off. From here, virus bud off. When this virus bud off, the spikes also attach with these virus. So spikes or protein are made by the host cell. This RNA make replication complex and form new viruses. This RNA also act as messenger RNA and form these spikes. These spikes gather below the cell membrane, and when virus release from the cell, these spikes are attached with the membrane. In this way, this virus replicate into the human body. So whole world is suffer from this pandemic named as COVID-19, and there is only one way. There should be scientists, either biologists or chemists, produce vaccine. But this vaccine is not found in a single second or spur of a second. It might take years. So the last option is preventive measures. So, preventive measure is the last chance for the humanity. Whenever we cough or sneeze, we use our elbow or we use mask and wash hand repeatedly, at least for 20 seconds each time. And what are the symptoms? There are some symptoms also of the COVID-19. All influenza and all common cold are not the coronavirus disease COVID-19. The basic symptoms are cough. These are starting of the symptoms. After first 14 days, these symptoms are appear. Might be cough, might be some uh, fever and shortness of breath. Basically, because it is a pneumonia, it causes shortness of breath. Other secondary symptoms are, for example, there are some headache, some nausea, some vomiting, and there is some problems with ears and nose, and there is a stuffy nose. So there we have the only best method at this present scenario to fight with this pandemic is the preventive measures. Thank you very much. Goodbye.